Spoiler warning for Shaman King all throughout this video. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everybody, my name's Link, here to talk about my first impressions on the Spring 2021 anime. On a starry night, middle schooler Manta meets Yo Asakura, a young shaman who has the ability to talk to spirits, and also has the ability to let them possess him to use their powers. Yo has a heavy duty on his shoulders. He must become the Shaman King by winning the Shaman Fight, a tournament between shamans that happens once every 500 years. Joined by his spirit medium fiancé Ana Kyoyama, his personal samurai spirit Amidamaru, and his other friends, Yo must also face a larger evil, Hao, a powerful man who aims to create a new world with only shamans by becoming the Shaman King himself. To start things off, I'd like to say that I am watching this remake as a fan of the original, though my memory of it was muddled thanks to the fact that the only way I could watch it back then was on local TV with local dubbing, and showing at a time when kids that are supposed to watch it are at school. Like, no lie, the only thing that I can remember about this show was that there were a lot of tournament arcs, and that I was super into Yo's older brother. But then again, around this time with Sesshomaru and Ryoga Ichizen, I leaned towards the evil brother types. 8-year-old me was ahead of her time, and I have to say that there's not much to say about this. They went out of the gates announcing to the world that they intend to give Shaman King the brotherhood treatment and animating everything from the ground up. But this time, with an undying loyalty to the original material, with 50 episodes already planned. For better or for worse, it tries its best to really encapsulate the early 2000s experience of watching the show, though at times leaves some to be desired. One thing I'm a bit on the fence about is its art style. While I understand that the older style was practically their brand now that they can't change it, with their comically large bobbleheads attached to their disproportionately small bodies, there's something about that art style that just doesn't jive well with the current technology and trends of anime having bright colors and cleaner lines in all of our high-definition screens. You can see every little mistake and wonkiness in the frames, and it doesn't help that only 2 episodes in as of writing this, but there's already some pretty ugly with a double E shots of combat. It's like they saw the 50-something episodes that they had to make and spread their team as thin as possible, so we're left with animators needing to draw with their mouths since their hands and feet are already busy doing 3 other things each. I don't mean to be harsh, but I just think that if they were going to go for the extra mile of animating everything from the very beginning of a beloved series, then why not give it the very best that you can offer? I know everyone's tired of the comparison, but whenever I see a battle-heavy remake, I expect at least a somewhat decent and consistent upgrade from the original, much like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And for any smart asses out there, yes, I know the original FMA had amazing action scenes, but there's a reason you mostly remember FMAB when asked to imagine your favorite animated moment, if you've watched both FMAs like I have. I'm aware that not every project has the luxury to have an amazing team, talent, budget, and time to back it up. But the fact that they needed to convince the author to even agree with the remake because oh my bit my tongue. But the fact that they needed to convince the author to even agree with the remake because he wanted the original voice actors and soundtrack shows that they were really gunning for this remake to happen. And I think that's a good enough segue to my one other problem that's not really a problem, I guess. With the current episodes out, Ren's voice is a bit painful to listen to. So reminder, my only other experience with the show was the local dub, so this is the first time I'm hearing all of their Japanese voices. While I really love Yo even if the voice actor wasn't the original, he has that calm and airy voice that's so relaxing to listen to. I could literally listen to him for hours. Meanwhile, Ren's voice sounds so strained to be deep that it's uncomfortable. I've always loved Romy Park's performances. Her as Tamamonomae from Omyoji I thought was such a bold choice. Like, yes! Androgynous royalty, keep winning! Until they decided to change the voice actor because they had bad taste. And yes, for the last time, I'll mention FMA. Her performance as Ed was genuinely one of the best in my opinion, as she can seamlessly turn serious and goofy at a dime. And it is just the beginning. So they're selling Ren's full edgelordiness. And I distinctly remember, as he becomes part of the Nakama and starts to banter with the rest of the crew, his true fun side will show. I just found his voice really grating at the beginning, so it stood out like a sore thumb. But even in the middle of the episodes where he lets loose and does his battle cries, he already sounds infinitely better. I think we've had enough remakes in the bag to guarantee that there will be more in the future. The reception and the execution have had all varying degrees of success. And unlike the big corporal rat who just wants to make a quick buck off of our nostalgia, anime from the early 2000s genuinely did have some issues with all its fillers and anime original endings that can be fixed with a retelling sometime later when its source material is complete. I wish it was as easy as saying that I just expect a better version of the original, but it's never that cut and dry. With my examples earlier, there are some decisions and changes that not everyone's gonna be happy with, or even look good in the end product, such as the art style. Like on one spectrum, we have Sailor Moon Crystal, that started out like the animators were forced to draw with their eyes closed, to Fruits Basket, that despite having the same vibe as a cutesy shoujo, improved its original art style while still keeping some elements of that sparkly, fuzzy atmosphere that grew with the genre. Since the old art style was simply a product of its time, with the likes similar to Skull Rumble, and just couldn't be imported into the current environment. And even with the sequels, remakes, question marks like Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card Sega and Higurashi who've either preserved or improved, though for real it wouldn't be that hard to improve on one of those, somehow they still mess up the story that should be easier to work with. Whether the confusing decision to try to include both new and old viewers into the experience and ending up pleasing nobody, or the interesting choice of jumbling up some chapters for God knows why. I find their balls to risk it admirable at least. We gotta have some bad examples before we get a good formula, right? And yes, I know adapting anything into an anime isn't as easy as just copy-pasting a manga cap into a storyboard and animating it. And thankfully, I don't see a storytelling mishap that often, or at least glaringly obvious, to impede the experience enough to make it a cause for concern moving forward. It's still too early to tell what Shaman King would do. Heck, we're still at the establishing parts of it. But I do move forward with the utmost hope that it's making the right decisions. Like I said at the beginning, there's not much to expect from the anime, since for me, I already somewhat remember what it's out to do. Granted, it wants to stay on course. It might provide a smoother experience into the story, so if anyone who wanted to get into Shaman King before, but for whatever reason couldn't, then this will be the best chance for you to do so. Though, fair warning, it does keep most of its gags and its scores from the less cynical times in the early 2000s. This is peak power of friendship to do a super overpowered thing they couldn't do just 1.02 seconds ago type of content. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I have a feeling it's gonna be gratuitous as the episodes come out because it's the very basis of everything. As it is with shonens of the past, and it's not afraid to remind you every 10 seconds. And the visual gags are so reminiscent of the past with its extreme deformities. It threw me off guard, but not in a bad way. Just that I haven't seen that particular style of animation in a long while. I find them both amusing and at times corny. And that's it for this one, everybody! Drop a comment down below on your thoughts of this anime and how you're finding it so far. Check out this playlist to see my other series where I review and recommend anime you might not have heard of. Are they hidden gems or did they deserve to fall into obscurity? Let's find out together. And as always, don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you liked the video and consider subscribing for all things weeb and anime. Bye bye!